The state of the mainstream media in this country is getting completely ridiculous as Dominic Raab has become the latest politician to be offered a job at GB News. What are we doing in this country? The mainstream media, whether it's the BBC or Sky, Channel 4, GB News and all the others, are all part of the same cabal. The issue I have with what's going on right now, as we've been talking about the media in general for the past, few years on this channel, the problem is, yes, until now you had channels like Channel 4 and many others who had left-leaning people, and I have no problem with creating a right-leaning channel with more right-leaning people to create a balance. Good. But my issue is politicians. That thin line, that boundary, the relationship that was between the media and the political establishment has been completely blurred now. Don't really care if they're left-wing politicians or right-wing politicians. We can't have too many politicians being news presenters, talking about media and politics. They are supposed to be on the other side, and media people, whether they're left-wing or right-wing, they should hold them to account or try to be impartial. Now, Dominic Raab has been offered a job at GB News now that he's basically left government and he's one of the has-beens. And also, really, Dominic Raab, of all people, are you kidding me with this? Okay, so, and those who say that, until now, BBC and Sky had basically all the left-wing presenters. Yeah, the solution is to have right-wing presenters, not politicians. Stop having politicians. And I'm going to criticize also all the other channels, LBC and Talk and everybody else, for having other politicians, Labour and Tory. So, Angela, who's the CEO of GB News, said that Dominic Raab would do very well for us, and it is rare that somebody of his caliber comes along. Jacob Rees-Mogg is already very popular with our viewers, as are Esther and Philip. He would be a good fit for us. So, I love Jacob Rees-Mogg. You know, he's great, and I like his views. But GB News is officially turning into a Tory TV channel. It's just Tory, apart from Nigel Farage, and he's not even a politician. By politician, we talk about elected politicians. It's just a Tory propaganda mouthpiece at this point. You got Jacob Rees-Mogg, who's actually trying not to do too much Toryism, but again, he's a loyal Tory and he defends the government, but he still tries his best to just completely talk about small c conservatism and conservative values. So the show is good. He's got a great show. But one person is fine. Two, okay. If you have the whole channel being completely dominated by politicians like LBC, because I'm going to also talk about them, it's just a bit weird. That thin line is being completely blurred between journalists who used to hold the power to account and politicians. Politicians are now being journalists and broadcasters. A bit weird. So you already have this couple, a married couple, Esther McVeigh and Philip Davis, who have also a very good show on GB News, but they're on the backbenchers. That's fine. They actually try to do a good job, and Esther McVeigh is very professional. But then you have Lee Anderson, good friend of mine, love Lee Anderson, but he's the vice chairman of the Tory party. He's not even just a backbencher. He's essentially in government. We have government people working on GB News and just any channel. It doesn't really matter what TV channel it is. That's an issue. Where we had David Lammy, the Labour MP, having an LBC show. What is going on? We have Nadine Dorries having a show on Talk TV. Why do we have so many politicians having political shows? Can we stop doing this? It's not the same as that Ed Balls, who's a former politician, going on Strictly Come Dancing or something like this, or doing a cover presenting on Good Morning Britain. That's also a bit weird, but they are former politicians. This is not really a healthy environment that we are creating when it comes to the mainstream media. And they are all mainstream media. Whether it's Talk TV, that's owned by Rupert Murdoch's empire, News UK, or GB News, that's basically controlled by all the mainstream media people who came from other channels, or ITV and Channel 4, Sky News and BBC, they're all basically the same. They just have different leanings. They're just doing different approach. And GB News do have good shows and good presenters. But the solution is not to fill the place with Tory politicians who are in favour of the government. The government must be held to account. You can't just completely have the mouthpieces of government being on a news channel. It's embarrassing. Anyway, this is the latest we have for you guys. Objectivity is very important when it comes to the political discourse in this country. I'm Mahyar Tousi, and we are the media.